Let's be entirely realistic. If you were dropped into the advanced nurturing high school tomorrow morning, Ayanokoji Kiyotaka wouldn't just ignore you. He would actively eliminate you from his circle within the first 24 hours. Why? Because you possess flaws that make you an immediate liability in his world. Ayanokoji doesn't tolerate weakness, not in himself, and absolutely not in the people he uses as tools. You are currently an open book of emotional leaks and validation-seeking habits, but that ends today. Here are the 5 brutal reasons you'd fail his test on day 1, and the exact clinical white room protocols required to systematically fix every single one. Only continue watching if you are capable of sitting through this entire video. This content is deep, heavy, and packed with high-level value. If you don't have the attention span to focus right now, scroll away. But if you are ready to lock in, I am ready to drop my audience retention just to weed out the weak. Rejection point 1. Emotional leakage. The absolute first reason Ayanokoji would permanently discard you from his radius within the first 24 hours is your complete lack of emotional containment, a concept the White Room defines as emotional leakage. Think about how you navigated your environment over the last 48 hours. When you received an unexpected or stressful text message, did your eyebrows twitch even for a split second? When someone subtly insulted you or caught you off guard, did your jaw clench, your posture stiffen, or your eyes widen? To you, this is just natural human behavior. You call it being expressive or authentic. But to an apex observer like Ayanokoji, you are a walking, talking security breach. You are constantly bleeding critical data through your face, your hands, and your vocal tonality. In a high-stakes psychological environment, if a competitor can read your micro-expressions, they can map your internal state, predict your next move, and manipulate your reactions before you even realize you've been compromised. You become a liability because your face betrays your mind. To systematically eliminate this flaw, you must adopt the White Room's strict stimulus response delay protocol. From this exact moment onward, you must train yourself to break the automatic link between external triggers and physical reactions. Whenever you receive shocking news, a direct insult, or unexpected praise, you do not immediately react. Instead, you force an absolute mandatory 2-second physical freeze. Your facial muscles remain entirely relaxed, your breathing stays perfectly rhythmic, and your eyes remain deadpan while your brain processes the incoming data. You learn to internalize the information without letting it manifest on your skin. By inserting this deliberate lag, you separate the initial emotional shock from your physical expression, ensuring that no matter how chaotic the situation becomes, the world looks at you and sees absolutely nothing but a blank slate. Rejection point 2. Validation-seeking behavior. The second reason Ayanokoji would immediately identify you as a liability and cut you from his grid is your deep-rooted subconscious addiction to external validation. Examine your daily habits honestly. The moment you achieve something small, whether it's finishing a difficult book, hitting a new gym PR, or working late, you feel an immediate, almost painful itch to broadcast it. You post a story, you text a friend, or you subtly bring it up in conversation just to hear someone say, "Good job." You are constantly checking your screen, chasing the cheap dopamine of being perceived as smart, capable, or disciplined. To Ayanokoji, this is a fatal psychological vulnerability. Ayanokoji's entire strategy relies on being a ghost, an absolute non-threat who controls the room from the shadows while letting others take the spotlight. Your desperate need to be seen, noticed, and validated means your ego can be easily baited, manipulated, and exposed by anyone who gives you a little bit of praise. To completely crush this weakness, you must execute the White Room's 30-day silence protocol. For the next 4 weeks, you go completely dark on your progress. You do not talk about your current projects, you do not boast about your discipline, and you do not explain your moves to friends, family, or social media. If you secure a massive victory, you become the only person in the world who knows it happened. You learn to swallow your success in silence. By cutting off the supply of external approval, you force your brain to find absolute satisfaction in the raw, unadorned result. You kill the urge to be praised, transforming yourself from a fragile, attention-seeking target into a self-contained, unpredictable force that operates strictly on internal execution. Rejection point 3. Wasted formation. The third reason Ayanokoji would look at you and see absolutely zero utility is the staggering amount of wasted potential in your formation years. While Ayanokoji was surviving the brutal, highly calculated curriculum of the White Room between the ages of 14 and 22, mastering advanced calculus, fluid dynamics, martial arts, human behavioral psychology, and complex game theory, you were burning your peak cognitive years chasing cheap dopamine. You spent those unrecoverable years doom-scrolling, playing video games, sleeping in, and distracting yourself from reality. Your brain was highly malleable during this window, designed to stack monumental amounts of crystalline intelligence, but you chose comfort over conditioning. Now you stand before an environment like the advanced nurturing high school with an underdeveloped cognitive base, lacking the raw analytical power and foundational framework required to even comprehend the psychological chess being played around you. To him, you are simply too far behind to be a useful piece on the board. To aggressively counteract this massive deficit, you must implement the protocol of retroactive intellectual stacking. You cannot go back in time to change your past, but you can heavily compress your future learning timeline through extreme, deliberate focus. From today onward, you must dedicate a minimum of 3 hours every single day to high-density, non-entertainment learning. You are completely banning passive consumption and replacing it with core structural knowledge, mental models, behavioral economics, microexpressions, and systemic strategy. You must read dense, heavy texts that make your brain actively ache, forcing your neural pathways to rewire under pressure. You are essentially running an emergency upgrade on your internal operating system, aggressively catching up to the years you lost and building the intellectual armor you should have forged a decade ago. Rejection point 4. Social transparency. The fourth reason Ayanokoji would permanently close the door on you within 24 hours is your absolute social transparency. You live your life with an open-door policy, mistakenly believing that being completely honest, transparent, and raw makes you relatable or trustworthy. When you are in a room, you readily volunteer your opinions, you explain your motivations, and you openly talk about what you like, what you hate, and what you plan to do next. To you, this is just natural socialization. To Ayanokoji, you are practically giving away free blueprints to your mind. By being completely readable, you allow any moderately intelligent manipulator to map out your boundaries, locate your emotional triggers, and predict your behavior with terrifying accuracy. In a highly competitive environment, a transparent person isn't authentic, they are simply defenseless. You become a liability to him because anyone who wants to target your circle can look right through you and find the weak link. To permanently correct this vulnerability, you must install the White Room habit of information asymmetry. From this point forward, you must completely invert your conversational dynamics by adopting a strict 70-30 listening to speaking ratio. In every single human interaction, your objective is to gather maximum data while giving away absolutely zero. You stop volunteering your personal opinions, you hide your long-term intentions, and you answer questions with deliberate, polite neutrality. When people speak to you, let them fill the silence, let them brag, and let them reveal their hands while you remain a perfectly smooth mirror reflecting their energy back at them. By consciously restricting the flow of your personal data, you create a massive information deficit for everyone around you. You cease to be a predictable, readable target and instead become a profound psychological blind spot, a blank canvas that no one can paint a target on. Rejection point 5. Inconsistent baseline. The fifth and final reason Ayanokoji would immediately reject you is your completely erratic, inconsistent baseline. Look closely at how you operate. You are a creature driven entirely by motivation, mood, and inspiration. You have good days where you feel unstoppable days where you go to the gym, study for hours, eat clean, and feel like a mastermind. But then, the moment your mood dips, or you get a poor night's sleep, or you just feel slightly burned out, you completely collapse into comfort. You skip the work, you indulge your vices, and you hide from your responsibilities. To Ayanokoji, this unpredictability makes you utterly worthless. In a high-stakes psychological war, a tool that only works when it feels like it is a tool that will break when you need it most. Ayanokoji is dangerous not because his peak performance is flashy, but because his baseline output never fluctuates, regardless of whether he is exhausted, bored, or under extreme duress. To completely destroy this systemic flaw, you must implement the White Room's systematic behavior protocols. You must completely decouple your actions from your emotional state by replacing motivation with strict algorithms. Design a lean, high-leverage daily routine and treat it as a non-negotiable script. If the protocol dictates that you read, train, or analyze at 9 p.m., you execute that task with mathematical precision. It does not matter if you are happy, depressed, inspired, or completely miserable. The emotion is irrelevant data that must be scrubbed from the equation. You stop trying to perform for temporary highs and start operating like a machine. By forcing yourself to execute identically every single day, you flatten the valleys of your inconsistency and establish an unbreakable, unshakable baseline that no external storm can disrupt. The White Room didn't create Ayanokoji by teaching him how to look powerful. It created him by methodically destroying every single thing that made him weak. If you want to survive his world, stop trying to perform. Start deleting your flaws. Execute the protocols.